Welcome back into another episode of Clearing the Bases presented by Rounding Third Media Network. I'm your host, Nick. We have Chris and Rob from NYMLB Talk. We have Jason from the 9521 and Bullpen Sessions. And we have Lorenzo, fresh off the restricted list, off the 10-day IL, and back with us from Big League Takes. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing wonderful.
Good. Good to be back.
Awesome. Yes. So another crazy week of baseball that we're going to get into. But first, this is the first time that we've all been together since we've kind of started this whole networking journey. This is going to be absolutely incredible. So if you guys in the chat and watching don't follow these guys already, please take a minute, follow NYMLB Talk, follow Big League Takes on X and Facebook, 9521 Braves Podcast, Bullpen Sessions on Facebook and YouTube, and Chris and Rob, NYMLB Talk, are on YouTube and X. So follow them. Follow us on Rounding Third Media Network as well on Facebook and YouTube. So, all right, let's jump into it. The Cubs and Diamondbacks series this week, I don't know if you've seen, has been pretty interesting because of some on-field antics. So it started with Merrill Kelly supposedly either tipping pitchers or something, but the third base coach was up in the box, was putting down some arm signals and kind of stealing the pitches from Merrill Kelly supposedly. So do you think that is Bush League for a coach to do it? Should it be left for just the players? How do you guys feel about sign stealing, pitch tipping in general? Starting at the top with Chris.
I have absolutely no problem with it. As long as it's not being done by, any kind of computer or electronic device or something. This has been going on for years, right? Since baseball started. I blame Merrill Kelly for tipping his pitches, right? We see it all the time. So I have no problem. I think him and his team looked really bad, trying to argue about that, trying to argue with with the third base coach of the Cubs. Listen, he's tipping his pitches. That's his problem, So I have zero problem with what the Cubs were doing.
Yeah. Rob?
Listen, they've been stealing signs since baseball started. So I also have no problems with this. It's ridiculous that they, the level it went to. Who cares? As long as it doesn't become the Astros and with the electronics and all that crap. I don't care if they steal signs. That's part of baseball. That's how it's been, and that's how it's always going to be. So I have no problems with that. I just have problems with them acting, now all of a sudden they're crying about it. They never used to do that. Come on. It happened forever, and it's going to continue.
Yeah. Lorenzo.
Yeah, so those guys' points, if you could see it with your eyes and you're within the guidelines, he was in the coach's box, then it's totally fine. Like, is Merrill Kelly yelling at his assistant coaches for when they have a stopwatch out, trying to get the tendency out on the pitchers, like trying to get his timing down, trying to get all these other numbers down? Everybody's doing it. As long as you're within the rules and you can only see it with your eyes, totally fine. And then you have the ball don't lie moment of just hitting two daddy acts after Merrill Kelly comes out the game. Ball don't lie, right? It's totally fine. It was very sharp and soft by the D-backs in this situation.
Yeah. Jason.
I guess I'll play a little bit of the contrarian. I don't love a coach doing it, I guess, but I'm not it doesn't really upset me. And like the guy said, if it's within the rules on the field, it's been going on forever. Just something about the coach doing it just irks me a little bit, but not enough to really doesn't bother me really. But I think the bigger story here is really the Diamondbacks are winning a big series against another wild card team without Marte. So I think that's a big story too in this series.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, right? I mean, in high school, signs were hung by catchers all the time. Like they had them down, beneath their crotch. And our third base coach used to be like, "Let's go, Nick," if it was a fastball, and he'd be like, "Let's go, number 8," if it was something off speed, right? So that stuff's always been happening. It is up to the Diamondbacks coaching staff to call time, make a mound visit, and say, "Hey, dude, turn your glove just a quarter turn to make sure that they can't see your pitch grip," right? he's in the third base coaching box. You shouldn't be showing him what you're putting in your glove for a grip. I'm with you. Don't pitch your tippet. Don't pit your titches. Don't tip your pitches.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close
That
enough.
too.
But at the same time, like I do agree that like it is a little bush league at this level for coaches to do it. I think it is a little. It should be on the players, right? So I agree with that to some extent. But hey, if he's the guy that's got the clear view, then it is what it is. So instead of the Diamondbacks chirping about it, go out and talk to your guy and fix the problem. That's where I'm at. So, but then I don't know if you saw the clip yet today. Just happened. PCA was on third base. Eddie Rodriguez makes like a quick delivery to home, and the Cubs want to balk. I mean, they start screaming, and they go to the cameras, and no balk is called. Did you guys see that clip at all?
I have not.
I didn't see that.
Not yet.
Okay, well, good talk. Anyways, so we'll have to revisit that one. But that was an interesting one. But it just seems like this series is very chippy, and maybe the Diamondbacks are just very emotional about what's going on behind the scenes, and feels like everybody's out for them, and they're in a race, and the Cubs are a team that's in the playoffs right now. So we'll see if anything happens with that. On the other side of that NL wildcard playoff race, Mason Miller gives up his first home run since August 5th of last year. Of last year, right. Absolute O'Neal cruise missile. Pirates win 1-0. Let's kind of touch on that NL wildcard race here. How are we feeling? Who are you choosing? Start at the bottom here, Jason.
Well, I seem to be a good jinx for teams, because the last time we had this discussion, I guess a couple weeks ago, I said the Cardinals and the Orioles were going to maybe get the last spots in each league. Well, the Cardinals have hit the skids since then. The Orioles are hanging in there, but probably going to change my tune a little bit on the Cardinals. They did have to play the Phillies when the Phillies were hot, so there's that. I just think it's going to come down to the order at this point in the National League. Phillies, Padres, Diamondbacks. I think that's your three teams. It's just going to be a matter of who gets 1, 2, and 3. American League, still crazy, still up for grabs. I'm still going to stick with the Orioles somehow getting that last spot. They're 3 back right now. But, I mean, it's the American League. So, literally, almost anybody is still in this thing. I mean, even the Royals have won 9 in a row. It's a long shot, but they're down to 8.5 games out, and they're 59-74. So, I'll stick with the Orioles in the American League, but, man, it's nuts out there.
Could you imagine if the Royals came all the way back? What? Oh my God, that'd be nuts. Lorenzo.
Yeah, so what's exciting about the NL wildcard, I hope it comes down to the last week of the season when you get the Padres hosting the Diamondbacks. Right, the Diamondbacks the rest of this season have 4 against the Giants. They got 3 against KC, 3 more against Texas, 3 against the Marlins, 3 against the Rockies, and then final 3 games of the season, D-backs at Padres. So I think it's going to come down to that, because I think everything else for the National League, especially talking about the wild card, is kind of already locked up. To Jason's point, you have the Dodgers, Brewers. Jason's already jinxed the Braves, so the Phillies winning the East, and then the Braves, Cubs, and then whoever comes out of that last series. So I love when the series comes out to the last season, when the season comes down to the last series of the year, and I think that's exactly what we're going to have this year. It's really exciting for me.
Yeah. Rob.
I think that San Diego is going to take that spot the last game of the season. I think it's going to come down to that last game in San Diego. I think right now, Arizona, I don't know what's going on in those guys' heads with what's going on with that club. So that might have an effect. You never know. But that's, in the National League, that's what I say. I say the Padres, the last game of the season, which is what MLB wanted. It's what everybody wants. And, at least it makes it exciting. In the American League, I'm going to go with Jason. I think maybe the Orioles are going to sneak in there. And if they do, that would be pretty cool. So my picks are going to be Padres and Orioles for those wild card spots.
Alonso's on fire. Pete Alonso's hitting the cover off the ball right now. So
Yep.
Yeah. Still should be a Met, but that's a story for a different day. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Rob with the Padres. I like the Padres, and if it stays close, which I don't think it will, I think it's going to start to separate a little bit. But if it does stay close, they play the final series, right? Final season series is San Diego against Arizona in the final 3 games of the season. So the playoff spot might come down to that series. So that'll be pretty cool. American League, man, it's such a toss up. I mean, Cleveland's leading it now, but because they just ran off 7 straight, it's just a matter of who's hot at the right time, I think, right? I mean, that's what it's coming down to. I was thinking Toronto, but they lost a couple of games in a row. I thought maybe Texas, but they didn't. They lost. I don't know. I'm going to say Texas. I don't know why, but I'll say Texas just to throw a different team in there.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to blow some minds here with this prediction, but the Mariners have the A's and the Angels coming up. They could possibly make up some ground here. Do I think they have this team to get there? No, but I'm picking them anyways. Why not? Right? And I'm sticking with my 4 teams from the AL East making the playoffs. I forget which show I picked which team. I think I said Orioles on this one and Blue Jays on my show. So either way, I'm right. Just covering bases there. But I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be chaos. And our old co-host Sean was just like, I don't care who wins, just bring me the chaos. Embrace the chaos, right? Because that's what makes it exciting for baseball fans. So absolutely love it. All right. Kyle Schwarber, MLB's first to 40 home runs. Now, we have talked about the Hall of Fame picture and how voters are going to have to kind of change and adapt to how these players are selected. Kyle Schwarber's at 379 career home runs. Still have some years left on our contract. He gets to 450, 480. Heck, if he gets to 500 with the OBP numbers that Kyle Schwarber has, is he a Hall of Famer? Let's start with Rob.
Yeah, I think so. Even like you said, even if he doesn't make the 500 home run club, say he gets 470, 480, I think so. You're right. Things are going to have to change for everyone, for pitchers and for position players for the Hall of Fame. So I think so. I mean, come on, the guy could hit, and what is this? 4 out of the last 5 years he's done it. So I think if he continues, even if he doesn't hit 500, if he hits like I said, 470, 480, I think he's a Hall of Famer if he continues.
Okay, Lorenzo.
I think he needs to hit the 500 number to be in the Hall of Fame. If not, he's on the outside looking in. He didn't hit his first 100 RBI season until his age 30 season with the Phillies. Never hit above 30. He had 38 home run season in Chicago. Other than that, he only hit 30 once before coming to the Phillies and really exploding. We kind of have the standard for the DH, Edgar Martinez and Dave Ortiz that's in the Hall. So that's who you got to kind of compare this guy to. So I think he needs to hit that magical 500 number. If not, I wouldn't vote for him, but I don't have a vote anyway.
Well, not yet, Lorenzo. Someday we will. Yeah. All right. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to what we've talked about before. Who are the voters? How are they looking at this? Because right now, 241 career batting average, which by the time he's eligible may not mean a whole lot. I think it still means something to voters now, but by that point, I kind of agree with Lorenzo. It might take getting to that 500. There's something special about that number. If he gets 500, I think it's a done deal. If he's in the 480 to 500 range, I still think he's got a really good shot. Like Rob mentioned, 4 of the last 5 years, he's busted 40, and the 1 year he missed it, he hit 38. So, the strikeout numbers are high. The batting average is not great. But again, if the voters start to make that turn towards having to take into account the modern game, then yes, I think he has a really good shot because he's turning 34 at the beginning of next season. So assuming let's just hope that we have most of a season next year. That could be a factor too, by the way. If we miss an entire season or a good portion, that could cost him a shot at 500. So, but if we do, then I think he's got a really good shot at getting to 500, and I think he's in with that.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I think 500 is an automatic in, obviously. Anything else, I would say, 450, 480, I think is going to get him in just because, listen, by the time he retires and gets on the ballot, a lot of these older writers that are voting are not going to be there anymore. And there's going to be new, younger guys on the, able to vote. And I think now with the new age on base and, not war, which Schwarber, but with other these newer analytics, I think he's going to get in, just like I think Joey Votto is going to get in, right? He didn't have huge power numbers, but on base, batting average, and everything else it might push him forward, might push him right in. So I think he's a guy to watch in the next couple of years. If he gets in, he may not be first ballot, but if he gets in, then I think Schwarber is going to get in, because then things are starting to change.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about this numerous times. I don't even know what the voters are looking for anymore. It seems like gentleman's club to me. If we like you, you're in. If we don't, sorry, better luck next time, which obviously there is no next time. So I don't know where I stand with him yet, but I am hoping it has to change, or we're going to have years where no one gets inducted and we're just pulling guys out of the 1870s to get into the hall. So, I think he does, but to everybody's point, he has to hit that milestone number, right? He just has to, because he is the DH. He has nothing in the field to bring his Hall of Fame status up. It has to be done solely at the plate. So, all right. Have we hit on the Dodgers financial stuff on this show yet? Do we want to dive into it?
I think we touched on it, but I've had a ball watching Jeff Passan have to walk back his comments and delete tweets the last couple of days and get community noted on X. Yeah, I mean, we touched on it briefly, but I mean, look, it's a huge story, especially with what's coming up with the labor, because the Dodgers were going to be the poster child for the owners, and now all of a sudden that might not be on the table quite as much as it was. It's a huge story that I feel like, even though it's getting a lot of attention, Nick, I don't think it's getting the kind of attention that it should be from the average baseball fan. It's a huge deal. I'm not one that's going to go so far as to say you got to put an asterisk by these championships, but they have had a competitive advantage that few people realized they had until recently, until the last couple of weeks. And I don't know how this story got buried. I have my theories on that, but Jeff Passan. But it's I think we got to pay some attention to it. Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah, I mean, what else have they kind of lifted up the rug and just kind of whoop, whoop, whoop?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't had any controversy out there the last couple of years. Shohei. But anyways, Lorenzo, your take on it.
Yeah, it's like, how would we make it a 25-year deal where they could avoid this much in taxes and come up to 1.5 billion, if not more? That's crazy. Some underlying stuff is happening. I think at the time you had the owner of the Dodgers and the commissioner of baseball were really good friends, and they should have forced the Dodgers at the time to sell the team. They didn't. This deal's still in place, and now they're reaping the benefits from it. MLB's got to walk that back and fix it.
Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, what is going on with the Dodgers and MLB and all this stuff? It started with Ohtani, with the gambling. Do we really know the whole story of what happened? Was that, interpreter? That guy, was he the fall guy? Somebody paid somebody off. He got paid to take the blame for that. It has to be. And it's just a big cover up with the Dodgers, but like everything else, eventually stuff comes out. So we're just going to have to sit here. It's going to be a wild ride, but we're going to find out more and more because eventually everything comes out.
Yeah. And Chris?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's really shady what this guy has done, trying to buying into the Dodgers, buying the Lakers, and buying part in. He's all over the place too, right? He's got a part of the Chelsea football team.
I think he
owns part
did.
of
I
it.
think he sold it.
Oh, he finally sold it. Okay,
I think so.
yeah. All right, that would have to be pretty recent. But also, he owns a part of an F1 team, NASCAR team. So he's all over the place, and he's got to come up with what, $20-something billion by the end of the year, right? To pay this fine up or whatever he's got going. So it's not good, and it's going to be interesting because we all know that the famous Ohtani opt out if he leaves ownership of the Dodgers, and also if the GM leaves too, right? So if that happens, does Ohtani opt out of this contract? Can he get another big, whatever amount of money he's going to have left? Because you got to remember, a lot of this money that he was getting, or most of the money he was getting, has been, what do you call it?
Deferred.
Right, deferred. Thank you for the word. Most of the money that he's getting is all deferred. So how do they figure that out, right? Because then if he doesn't get that money, the last couple of years he's getting paid nothing by the Dodgers, right? Most of it is deferred. So how does all that work out? If he does opt out, if he doesn't opt out, then we're talking about nothing right now. But it'd be curious to see if he really does opt out, and will he get another huge offer? I think he will from somewhere. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah,
Ohtani to the Mets. Confirmed. Ohtani to the Mets. It's gonna happen.
This is where I wish Harrison was on, because he is into the business part of baseball. He really knows it. But so Ohtani's contract has already been paid for. It's just set aside, just accruing interest, accruing whatever guys with a lot of money accrue. I would never know. Like, I have
More
quarters,
money.
I have quarters in a jar, and it's not getting any bigger. That's about where I am about financial saving. But so his contracts are already paid for. So I would wonder if the Dodgers would be on hook for that other $68 million if he opts out. That's probably written somewhere in his contract how that works in his opt out if he does. Now, the issue with the owner here is he owns insurance companies and he owns all these teams. And what he's been doing is he's been moving all this money, which you are allowed to do. It's not against the rules, but you have to report it. When you're moving millions and billions of dollars, you have to report it. And he's not reporting it. So it's not necessarily a crime. It's not illegal. It's just, again, the Dodgers kind of exploiting a loophole, right? And these guys have infinite amount of money. They're always going to find a loophole. No matter what the CBA says and makes them do, they have all this money coming in that they're always going to find a loophole. So I don't really know. More details are going to come out. He's saying there's no fraud, but it's just fishy, right? Just the Dodgers are just right on the edge of everything of like, is it illegal? Is it not? Like what are we doing? Like, do you want to model your franchise after that? I don't know if I would. Let them win all the world championships and then let them burn when they find something illegal. But as of right now, it's just the not reporting the moving of the money to fund all of these different things is what they're under investigation for. But to your point, Chris, it looks fishy when you sell the Lakers, you sell Chelsea. You're possibly looking at selling your stakes in the Dodgers, right? That just doesn't add up to me, anyways. But again, that's just from the information that I have gotten. So if something does come out illegal, do you put another asterisk, next to their Mickey Mouse championship in 2020? Do you put another asterisk next to these world championships that they've won the last 2 years?
I would put, the mental asterisk, sure.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
The Astros, their championship that they cheated to get, right? the commissioner had a chance to take it away, to vacate the championship that year, but we see what happened. So no, I don't think anything's going to be asterisk. Maybe to the fans it will be, but in the record books, no, definitely not.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I agree with Kurt. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. I mean, if they didn't do it to the Astros, they're not going to do it to the Dodgers. But it's just a terrible look. It's a terrible look for Major League Baseball, as Rob mentioned. And it opens the door to those other, conspiracy theories, like the Ohtani situation. Like it just makes people wonder, like you said, Nate, like what else has been swept under the rug. That's probably the worst part, because the owners had such a huge advantage in the PR battle a couple weeks ago, and this is going to take a hit for them, right? So this is big stuff. It makes you wonder how this story started to get out there. Maybe somebody working for the players union helped get this story out. But that's the worst part for the owners, is it makes Major League Baseball look fishy for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
total
go
agreement.
ahead, Lorenzo.
Yep, total agreement. You guys can't have the Astros. Like at the end of the day, when the Dodgers still play, it's their 9 versus our 9, and playing these games. The only thing that if it comes out true that we find this stuff, underlying stuff, you have to punish this team. It can't be like the Astros where it's like, hey, if you come out and you say it, we're not going to punish you. You got to punish them. You got to punish them hard. I always go back to watching MLB Talk years ago. Harold Reynolds is like, I think the best punishment you need to give to the Astros is kill their farm. And he made the example. He said, you send Kyle Tucker, the number 1 prospect, you send him to the Marlins. You send Yordan Alvarez, the number 2 prospect, you send him to the Pirates. You just kill their farm and say, hey, what you did is done. It's in the past, but you're not going to do this again because you're depleted. Your team isn't going to be there in the next 5 years. And so I think you have to have that type of punishment for teams to really be like, yeah, we can't do that. The 2 years of victory can't cost us 10 years for the future.
I mean, they did that to the Braves for much less with the stuff that couple I can't say his name was doing in the international market for much less than this, and it hurt the Braves for several years with their minor league system. So yeah, that's a great point, Lorenzo.
Is that where they would go with the punishment? You think is attack the minor leagues? I mean, you can't really do anything on the major league level, can you?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, what, like to your point, what else can they do? They're not going to take the championship away. What else can they do? They're going to fine them.
Yeah,
draft
the Dodgers,
they could take draft
Dodgers
picks
are going to
away.
print some more money in the basement. So it's got to be the minor leagues. Make them take a hit for sure.
All right. Well, Harrison's chiming in here. They're finding that Walter used intermediaries to move money between companies. If he asked them to do it for him to conceal it, then it could be fraud. It's getting more interesting every day.
There you go.
yeah.
So, yikes.
Damn Dodgers.
Man, yeah. I mean, it's messy. I think to all your points, to just kind of recap, like, it's not a good look, right? And to your point, Jason, I think it has to be the Players Association being like, hey, we need to hire someone to figure out, we need some dirt, because we need to get this argument back on our side, because right now we got nothing. So maybe that is them digging, trying to find something. Dodgers is an easy target because listen, they're spending double what everybody else is, excluding the Mets. But, they are spending, but I mean, they're even leagues above the Mets, which is crazy. So there is something going on there. They had to do some digging, and we'll see what comes of it. But this is just getting the whole feud between the MLB, the MLBPA, owners, Players Association. This is getting just as interesting as the playoff race is down the stretch. So pretty wild stuff. All right. I got it back to the playoff race. Is there a division leader right now that you could see falling out other than the Braves? Sorry, Jason. Other than the Braves falling out and still making a wild card, or maybe even fall out completely and miss the playoffs?
I would say if any of those teams, maybe the White Sox, that's possible. But yeah, that's the only one I could see right now. I mean, maybe if the Yankees get hot and Tampa gets cold. I think the Yankees, with everyone coming back, me and Chris talk about this a lot. Maybe Tampa doesn't win the division. Maybe the Yankees do. I just think if Judge comes back, strong and the pitching staff, I think the Yankees have a chance. So those are my two choices right there.
Yeah. Going back to the last point that we were just talking about, Armin said if it's fraud, then it's not illegal in MLB, and MLB can't punish them.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
yeah, but we'll see. He said this story will get bigger during the playoffs, as the Dodgers keep going. If the further the Dodgers go, story gets bigger. But yeah.
And here's another, going back to the story, wouldn't it be, it would be kind of in the players' side for it to come out more, right? Because then if they're not ruining baseball with their big spending, who does that? Oh, wait. No, that actually helps the league out more. If this comes out that they're whatever fraud, whatever you want to call it, doesn't this help the league out push more the salary cap? I don't know. Who do you guys think it helps more if this story does come out and it shows that they've been, doing everything wrong here and they're, whatever. Like, who do you think it helps more? Do you think it helps the Players Association?
I think it's probably nuanced, Chris. Like, it's probably not, black and white, but the totality of it to me favors the players, because the narrative has been that other teams could be doing what the Dodgers have done and they just choose not to. But if this is true, and combine that with the bankruptcy situation and the revenue sharing situation, then other teams couldn't do what the Dodgers were doing, and that's really the point. And so that hurts the owners. But I can also see this, in the PR battle, it's going to be tug of war, right? Both sides are going to try to use it because that's what they do. To me, it leans heavily to the players, though, and this is the first time during this pre-labor war, before we get into the meat of it, that I feel like the players actually have something to kind of hang their hats on, because they were getting killed in the perception category before this. So to me, if you take it as a totality, I think it favors the players.
Right.
I don't know. I think I have to go with the owners on this side, because they've all along been saying, like, hey, like, you want us to do what the Dodgers are doing, but we can't do what the Dodgers are doing, right? And then it all comes out that the Dodgers are doing this, and now the owners can be like, see, this is why we need a salary cap. This is why. Because they were doing illegal stuff. Like, this is helping us being like, hey, we can't spend like that because we're not doing illegal stuff. So,
right.
Like, we do have to put a cap on our spending, because
the only problem is baseball is the one that allowed it. Manfred's he's the one that allowed it to happen. So that's the caveat.
Right. Right. So the Players Association is, see, these guys are so shady. How can we even agree to a salary cap or anything that they want, because they're so shady?
That's right. They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat us out of money. That's why they want a salary cap. Look what they're doing.
I think it's bad for the game. Either way.
Yeah, it is.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's not good for the game. No.
Harrison said very little of the money Walters moved ended up with the Dodgers, from what it looks like. Most of it funded him buying the Lakers and other investments.
Yeah, but still, people are not going to pay attention to that. They're going to make it. They're just going to make it about the Dodgers.
Yeah,
well, plus,
exactly.
Plus, they got the cushy bankruptcy deal that lasts till like 2035. So, like, that factor, that to me, that's more of a factor than the moving the money around thing. Like, that's a big deal. It gives them an advantage. Yeah. So, it's like I said, both sides will use it because that's what you do in a labor disagreement. But it's probably not black and white. It's probably a mixture. But I just think this is the first time the players have something. Next thing you know, we'll have a story. Rob Manfred gets caught, buying a prostitute in Ohio at a trailer park. Right, that's coming. Probably coming next.
Anyways, all right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Right, that'll be slept under their rug too. Yeah. All right. So back to the first place team that could possibly fall out of the playoffs. Rob's going with the White Sox. Great selection. Anybody else wants to to jump in and choose their
Yeah.
team that could possibly fall out.
Yeah, I'll throw in the Astros.
Yeah.
My Yankee hate never leaves the Astros, so that's more me wanting them to fall out. But even when looking at the Astros next month is September schedule, you're playing the White Sox who are over 500, the D-backs over 500, then the Phillies, then the Rays. You get a soft series against the Royals before hitting the Braves, and then last two series of the season, you got the Mariners and you got the Athletics, two teams that have the interdivision rival that want to ruin your season. So it's a bunch of people that have a bunch of targets on the back of the Astros. So, and do they have the pitching to make it? Right? We know they got Jordan. We know that we trust a little bit of their hitting. Really, we trust Jordan. Pena, who's a stud out there. Isaac Paredes. We got a bunch of good players. But can the pitching make it the rest of the way? And I don't think so. So I'm going the Astros fall out, miss the playoffs.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I'm with him. I could see that. I think that's really the only one. That one in the Central. I think the the National League I think is pretty much set. I have more faith in the Braves than Jason does right now.
I'm feeling a little better.
I think it goes both ways. I think I have more faith in them, and I don't have faith in the Phillies. I just don't. And I think with the American League, that's the only spot where, especially the West, right? It's only a half game. Rangers and Astros are a half game away, and then you even got Seattle hanging in at 3 games out. But the Central also, Rob mentioned, the White Sox are only up by 2 games over Cleveland. Like Cleveland could easily take them in a series, and it's, and pass them. The Yankees do have 4 games left against the Rays at Yankee Stadium, the series before the last one, I believe. So I think it's going to probably come down to that series. Hopefully they could get it to 2 or 3 by the time they get to it. And, hopefully they take care of business. But I think, the Astros are definitely that's the easy one. But I think the more interesting one would be either Chicago losing it or the Rays.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, he after listening to Lorenzo list off that schedule for the Astros, I think it's a guarantee. That's rough. Even the Royals, who you said were kind of the soft series there in September, they've won 9 in a row. So I think, Nick, you said this earlier. I'm looking at this. I'm going to just go out on a limb. I think Seattle's going to come back and win that division. I think Seattle's going to win that division. They're 3 games out. And the only team in front of them is Texas, and Texas can't seem to stay consistent either. So, especially if Raleigh's breakout against the Phillies is real, if he can keep some type of that pace, it's not going to be that good, obviously. But I'm going to say Seattle comes back and wins that thing, and Houston ends up completely out.
Dang. All right.
Did you guys see the website? It was Cal Raleigh's OPS since PCA slapped him on the butt. Absolutely took off. He just needed that PCA magic to rub off on him.
What it was. That's what it was.
Incredible.
He did go 0 for 4 today with 4 Ks. So
all right, back to normal. Okay.
And and there's that. All right. Well, I think the Rays and the Yankees are going to lose out. They're going to lose every game for the rest of the season. The Red Sox take the division. That's just my prediction. It's a hot take. Right. I know. Yeah, the hot take. No, I'm seriously though. I'm with you guys. It's the Astros. It's the AL West. That we've said it all year. I think we've said it for the last 2 years. Really, like it's anybody's division at this point. Wouldn't even surprise me if the Angels came up out of the basement and won that division. It's not good. That division's not good. But I am gonna pick the Mariners to take over first place. Astros to fall out. And Armin asked, do we trust any of the AL Central teams to catch the White Sox? Well, trust is a strong word there, Armin. Trust is an interesting word. I would love to see the Twins do it, but do you guys trust any of the AL Central teams to take the lead there?
Well, the guards are red hot right now. You got a kid in Stephen Kwan who's hitting 377 for the last 2 months. The Guardians are 24-22 in their last 46 games. Stephen Kwan, absolute stud. I think he's back to who we've seen in the last few years, and they still got 2 of the guys that are finished top 7 in the Cy Young in the American League this year. Parker Messick, Gavin Williams. They can make it in the playoffs. They're going to be a scary team. I like the Guardians to pass the White Sox.
Yeah. Is everybody else on the Guardians train there? Pretty much.
I'm sticking
why not?
I'm sticking with the White Sox because I picked them to keep the lead when we did this at the All-Star break, but I definitely see where Lorenzo's coming from. I'm just thinking with him when I picked them, but it's very tenuous at this point.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I think out of those 4 teams there, I trust the Guardians the most, I guess. They're a team that just doesn't beat themselves. They play great fundamental baseball. They never, you never see a ball end up in right field. Like, they play defense. They're solid defense. They hit the ball. They just don't beat themselves. And that plays over 162. So if I'm going to quote unquote trust any of them, it is the Guardians to kind of take that. But I'm pulling for the White Sox full-heartedly for sure. Smooth Will, big 4-game series coming up. Red Sox in the Bronx. Chris, what's your prediction for that series?
I was leaning towards a split, but since I'm a Yankee fan, I'm going to say we're going to take the series 3-4, 3 games to 1.
Well, it was nice having you on the show. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I'm gonna straddle the fence like I usually do. I think it's a split there, but it's going to be a very telling series to see where both teams are at, especially coming down the stretch here. Both teams are getting some key guys back, hopefully. So who do you think actually can come back out of those 2 teams and make a difference, right? The Red Sox got Crochet. They have Roman Anthony coming back. The Yankees have the plethora of guys coming back, right? So who has the advantage with players coming back? And anybody can hop on this one.
I just want to add how big the series is too. It's also for the season series, right? If there is a tie, if a tiebreaker has to come into effect here for the playoffs, right now the Red Sox have the better record. I think they're 4-5 against the Yankees. So whoever wins the series is really going to have that advantage going in, right? So I think that's even, that's also a big part of the series. But yeah, I think anytime you add a guy like Aaron Judge to your lineup, it's huge, right? Because he makes everybody else better. That lineup just gets so much better with Judge in the lineup. But adding Crochet to the end of your bullpen is pretty good too, right? To add to Chapman, right? So that's a great 7th through 9th inning. Red Sox get the lead by the 7th inning, it's over, right? You could just, it's almost like the Yankees from 96. But I mean, I think both teams, if everybody does come back, like you said, it's a big if, right? Anthony is supposed to be back Friday. IKF is coming back September 1 with Story. So you're adding those guys for the bench. And then, the back end of the bullpen is going to be pretty good for the Red Sox if Crochet does return and he's Garrett Crochet, right? That's the other big if. Yankees might be getting Luis Heel back, Clark Schmidt. They're getting Fried back Saturday. So you add all these guys. That's, man, I don't think any team in the league wants to play either the Yankees or the Red Sox. And lucky for them, the Yankees and Red Sox are probably going to play the wild card, right? Because they're both probably going to be, let's assume they're going to be 1-2 in the wild card. So one of them is going to get knocked out in the first round, at least. So there's that.
Crazy. Yeah.
Or what if the Yankees or the Red Sox knock out the Rays? That's possible. What if the Rays, right? So then everything changes. So you know what? Here's what I say. I think that I'm gonna go even 2-2. They're gonna split the series, but you know what? We're gonna get to watch some great baseball this last month and a half.
Absolutely. Yep. Smooth Will says, I believe once my Yankees get their full squad back, I almost read that word for word, full squad back, and with the pitching as well, the Yankees can win the World Series. Okay, so I pose this question to you guys.
Love that take.
Of course you would. Yeah, of course those two would. So I pose this question to you guys. Which AL team, if any, has the best chance to win the World Series? Now, right now, because I don't really care for playing the if game. Oh, if this guy comes back, if this guy comes back, and if this guy comes back, we're going to be good. Well, we all know setbacks happened. We know that they don't come back and they're 100% yet. Their timing's off. So, which team in the AL is in the best position to possibly knock off an NL team in the World Series? Is there even one?
I think it's the Yankees.
You got to look at the Tampa Bay Rays. If I'm being a non-biased Yankee fan, it's the Tampa Bay Rays. Drew Rasmussen, he's another top 5 Cy Young getter this year. Ian Seymour, what he's doing. They have him coming in the bulk role sometimes. They have him starting. He's really excellent. Plus, Freddie Peralta, right? We talked about it earlier. He went 6 innings strong today.
Ooh.
Put him in the right spot, see him do something fun. Plus, you got Junior Caminero and the number 1 batting average team in baseball in that Rays offense. So that'd be the team, I think, that it still has the chip on the shoulder. That's who everybody should be looking to beat.
I guess I just don't trust the Rays because of the Rays. Like, I know that's not a good reason, but I just don't trust them because of the Rays. I think it's the Yankees. If you've got Fried, Garrett Cole, and Cam Schlittler, you've got a chance in any series. And so I think if those guys are firing on all cylinders, I think the Yankees have a shot. I mean, I wouldn't favor them against any of the National League teams, but of those teams, Lorenzo's probably right. It's something about the Rays. Like, does anybody see the Rays beating the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cubs, the Brewers? I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think for me, and again, I'm not trying to be a homer here, but the type of baseball the Red Sox are playing is not typical Red Sox style baseball. And that's why I think the season has flipped 180 degrees, right? I mean, Chris was sitting there trying to talk me off of Legend June because, dude, they were worse than the Mets, and that's saying something, right? So, I mean, it was just like, I mean, they were that bad, but after they fired Cora and Tracy got in there, they're bunting, they're hitting and running, they're stealing, that the power's all of a sudden coming back. Like, the type of game that the Red Sox are playing is something I haven't seen in a while from this team. And I like the teams that are trying to flip baseball on their head, if you will. You know, like the Brewers. I love the style of baseball the Brewers play. And the Red Sox are starting to lean towards that. I think that's a recipe for success because you're not living and dying by the 3-run homer. So, homerism aside, I think the Red Sox are in. If they keep playing like this down the stretch, I think they could cause some trouble against an NL team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think one of the 3 AL East teams, right? Yankees, Rays, or Red Sox. If they're playing up to their level and they're fully healthy, all 3, one of them does have a shot. But they have to be playing at that top level that we've seen the Red Sox, do with that hot month that they had. And even with the Yankees, when they're fully healthy, we're judging the lineup. That changes that whole team, right? And if they're healthy from the pitching standpoint, that changes everything. And the Rays, just because of the game that they could play, if they're gonna beat you, right? You got to, first of all, you're gonna have to go into Tampa and win a game there, and that's like so hard, right? I want to say it's impossible, but it is a pain in the neck to win a game in Tampa, especially in the playoffs, the Dome. It's gonna be. I'm not looking forward to it when the Yankees have to go there, but unfortunately, they got to pull out a win there, at least one. But luckily for the National League team, whether it's going to be the Dodgers or maybe the Brewers, they're probably going to have home field over the Rays, right? So, but either way, you're going to have to pull a win out of there somehow, and that's no easy task. So, one of those 3 teams, I'll give a shot.
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys, and I am going to be leaving now to promote us on that other station. So I have the logo that you gave us, so I'm gonna have them put it up, and I will see you guys later. I'm headed there now, and I'm gonna try to they're gonna give me a couple of minutes, so I'm really gonna talk it up.
All right, perfect,
Awesome.
Rob. Thanks, man.
Okay, guys.
All right, we'll see you. All right, so let's kind of flip it over to the National League, right? Obviously, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. what NL team has the best shot to kind of knock them out before getting to the World Series?
I'm going to stick on who I picked for the preseason, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. That team wins in a lot of different ways. And it's, as I say, a lot of different ways. They don't win by the long ball. They win by just being pesky, playing really great defense, being on your ass for every bit of those 9 innings that they play. They pitched really well. Like the Miz, we all know about the Miz. Logan Henderson's having himself a hell of a good year. And then you got to trust what they do in that bullpen, right? Like Aaron Ashby, like how many casual Major League Baseball fans know who Aaron Ashby is? And that guy's having a tremendous back end of the bullpen year. So I really like those Brewers to knock down those Dodgers.
Yeah, how many wins? He's up to 13 wins. He's 13-2. It's crazy. Out of the release spot. Crazy.
That is.
What about you guys, Jason or Chris?
Yeah, I think Brewers, or I'm going to put the Cubs. The Cubs were my pick in the offseason to make it to the World Series. So I don't think they have enough, but I'm going to have to stick with them since I have them in the offseason. But I think Brewers are the Cubs, right? The Brewers, to me, are a better version of the Rays, right? Because they, like you said, they can beat you any way you want to be beat. They could hit the long ball too, right? They got a couple of guys that could hit for power as well. So, but nothing like what the Dodgers have. So, but yeah, I'll say one of those 2 teams.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still anti-Brewers. They got to prove it first. I picked the Cubs like Chris did in the preseason, but in a short series, especially if it's a best of 5, guys, if the Phillies play the Dodgers in a best of 5 and they've got Wheeler and they've got Sanchez and they got Luzardo lined up, I really like the Phillies' chances because when they get hot, we've seen it a couple times this year, when the Phillies get hot and Schwarber's hitting bombs and Bryce Harper's hitting and those 3 guys are shoving, the Phillies are still really good. They just can't seem to keep it together for long stretches of time. But give them a 5-game series, those 3 guys lined up for that series, they got a shot. The problem is they're most likely going to be a wild card team. Even if they win the division, they're basically going to be a wild card team because the NL East winner will be the 3rd division winner. And they're going to have to play a wild card series and use a couple of those pitchers. But if somehow they get those pitchers lined up, I think they're the best team to do it. I agree with what Lorenzo is saying. The only thing about the Brewers, the way they play, the long ball is important in the postseason because when you're facing these really good pitchers, it's hard to string hits together. It's hard to get the 3, 4, 5 hits in a row that they like to do, that they did to my Braves to death last weekend. In the postseason, when you're facing somebody's top 2, 3 pitchers every single game, that's when you need that big 3-run homer, right? And so that's the lack of power there could come back to haunt them in the postseason. And maybe it's the reason they haven't advanced further in the last few postseasons as well.
Yeah, for me, it is a team that has proven that they can beat the Dodgers. Now, the only thing is they got to get into the postseason, and that's my Snakes. The Diamondbacks have gone into Dodger Stadium. Granted, they had Dodger killer Christian Walker still on their team when they went in there and just absolutely destroyed them in that playoff series. But they've played the Dodgers. They've had their number. I think the last series they had, Ohtani had, I think he was like 2 for 13. They kept him in check. I mean, sort of, I guess, if you those two hits were homers, but I guess that's keeping him in check. But it depends. The Diamondbacks are weird because they just got Justin Martinez back. Corbin Burns could possibly be coming back down the stretch here. So it's interesting. But I think they just match up with the Dodgers in a way that other teams don't. It's interesting. But I think for you guys, I think I'm with you, Jason. The Phillies obviously have the pitching to kind of attack them. And hopefully the pitching's hot by the time they get to the Dodgers. What are the chances of that actually happening, though? Are we thinking that it's the Dodgers out of the NL and nobody has a shot? I mean, yes, everybody has a quote-unquote shot, but realistically, what are the odds?
It's going to be tough. I mean, you just list off the Dodgers starting pitchers. It just keeps going, right? I mean, the depth there is insane. I mean, I think the Brewers, the Cubs, The Phillies, I think they have a shot, and I think Brewers and Phillies have more than just a puncher's chance if things line up correctly for them. So I don't think it's a guarantee, but it's gonna be a tough out for sure.
Yeah. Michael said the Snakes just aren't afraid of the Dodgers. Right. I mean, they play them so much during the year. They're familiar with them. That helps for sure. But yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up for tonight's show? That goes for the chat too, if you guys want to throw something in there as well. But anything pressing that you guys want to throw at us? No?
Don't everybody
No?
talk at once.
Maybe? Matt?
No, I
Yep.
think we're good.
We're good. Okay. All right. Chat. We'll give you a couple more seconds here. But yeah, this has been incredible as always. But if you guys are watching now, make sure that you follow everybody. We have MLB Talk. We have 9521 Braves Podcast, Bullpen Sessions, Big League Takes, Rounding Third Media Network on YouTube, on Facebook. We are having shows every single night of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're looking to fill, which we might fill with trivia or some other show at some point. But a lot of great live baseball content for you guys to come in and check out. And everybody's been incredible jumping on board and really, developing this network, and it's just going to keep going. So I'm excited for it, fellas. A lot of thanks to you. Pretty dang awesome. So if you're watching, make sure you follow all of us, follow the Rounding Third Baseball Network to get everybody on every night. Drop in, say hi, listen, drop a question, and we'll get you on the show. That's what we want to do. We want to bring you guys into the show, into the discussion with us. And that's what separates us from all the other baseball shows. Listened to one earlier. It was great stuff, but I wasn't part of it. Somebody did bring me into the show a little bit. So thank you to that guy, whoever it was. But the host of the show just kind of cast you off the side. We will not do that. You guys are part of the show. We are all fans. We want your input. So please support
Definitely
what we got going on. So anything else to add, fellas?
I
It's
think
gonna
we're
be
good.
fun. Months ago.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. A month ago is going to be
Crazy month. A crazy
That's
month is
crazy.
coming up.
We are going to have nothing. We're going to have a lot of things to talk about for sure. So it's going to be nuts. So tomorrow night, NYMLB Talk at 9:00, Rounding Third at 9:00. Those times are going to change a little bit, but they have an interview. I don't want to mess with that. So tune into them. They got Marshall Garvey and Greg Pryor.
Yep.
Greg Pryor coming on. Marshall's incredible. Greg Pryor's going to be great. So check them out. Check us out over at Rounding Third Baseball. Check everybody out. And, well, you know what I mean. But anyways.
Just check us all out.
Subscribe, follow. Just check us out.
Watch everybody.
Yeah, just
Watch
thank you.
everybody.
That's the better words for that.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Just watch everybody. And until then, we'll see you next Wednesday, 9 p.m. for Clearing the Bases. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And we'll